you're coming to the end of your first season in management. Obviously, you sat in the playoffs, guaranteed a position in them. What would you say you've learned from your first year?
What have I learned? I think always learning different things. What's the biggest thing I've learned? I've learned that I've got a really terrific group of players, great football club, good people. I've learned that I enjoy working here. If anything else, that's the biggest thing. I've relished the opportunity and made the most of it. And obviously along the line of how you deal with certain situations in this position I'm in, and decisions that have got to be made. And you make some ones that work, some ones that maybe haven't gone as well as we hope. But it's all part of experience, really. So I think it's a lot of little things that you learn along the way.
You take on Rotherham on Monday, of course. They're down at the bottom, fighting relegation. But of course that means that they've got a lot to play for. And so, how will you assess their threat?
Well, of course, yeah. It's a proper game. It's a real game of football. The cut and thrust end of the season, and they've got a huge amount to play for. I think they've done ever so well over recent months. I think Matty's done a really good job, and it'll be a big challenge for us. Yeah, they're desperate for the points. Of course they are. It's a game that we're really relishing, and it's a good one for us. I think to have a game that's got so much on it. Not in terms of for us directly, but we've got to be our best. We've got to play with the right edge and a real spark about us. It's not just an end of season kind of cruise through. It's a proper game, so we'll look forward to it. Obviously watched them a lot. Watched them last night. Set back for them last night, so they'll be even more determined, if you like, to try and come out on Monday and get the points that they need.
Just on that, how important is it for you that you take some good form going into the playoffs?
Yeah, it's important. It's important. I think momentum's important. I think you can get momentum in different ways. I think you can get momentum from performances and the confidence within that. Or you can get momentum from results. But sometimes for the confidence and the belief, the results is not always the be-all and end-all, really, at this stage. I think performance-wise, in a good rhythm and a good standard where you feel that we're close was what we took from Monday night at Luton to go there and play like we did. I think we took a lot from that, so we'll look to build on that.
And just finally looking towards the playoffs again, obviously they're famed for their big moments, their shocks, etc. But in terms of preparation, I presume you just treat it like any other game this season.
We will when we get to it. Yeah, we will when we get to it. We're still there's still a lot of training and football to be played up until kind of playoff week, if you like. So we're still trying to get better until then, and these two games are really important games for us as a group. And obviously that teams we're playing against, it's important for them. So it's two good games for us.
Thanks.
Did you get an apology from the EFL or from the referee for the decision on Monday night?
Oh, I haven't even given it a second thought, to be honest with you. So
sometimes they follow up when it's clear.
No, nothing at this stage has come through now. But I've not given it a second thought. It's one of them. I think we've all seen it and know what it was.
Yeah. How are we looking injury wise?
Yeah, we've still got a few. We're hoping to get one or two back in and around the group this week if we can. It's a decision of whether we push them for Monday or whether we're a little bit more careful. That's obviously the decision we've got to make, but it won't be everyone back at all by any stretch, so we'll just make the most of what we can.
So don't expect anyone back for Monday who has been out recently?
No, we're hopeful, but it's an important game for us. But at the same point, we got to be sensible. So there's no point rushing someone back just for this game. But at the same point, there's ones that have been out if they are available, which we're not quite sure yet. But if they are available, there might be a case of getting them involved to get them up to speed. But that's kind of similar to what we had last week a little bit, and getting the balance right. And I thought the boys that played were fantastic and looked like they had played for a while, and it was important for them, a lot of them, to play 90 minutes as well to get that feeling. And obviously Tuber and Hayden having a bit of a rest kind of freshened them up and put them in a good place. So we'll be looking to do something similar in terms of decisions and balance within the team for Monday. But it's for me, it's a really, really important game to play with that level of intensity and not lose that, which we didn't lose it at all on Monday night. Bitterly disappointed we didn't win, and we'll be approaching the game on Monday exactly the same. Like, it's a game we want to win, performance we want to have the highest level, and keep building and pushing and improving as much as we can.
Just on Paddy specifically, apologies if you were asked about him on Monday because I wasn't there, but what's his problem?
It was a groin, felt his groin, games it now? Hull, yeah. Yeah, he felt his groin, he came off, didn't he?
Yeah.
Hull, yeah, he felt his groin, yeah.
Yeah. Just asking about Martin Piero, obviously not a player who you've worked with because he was out on loan when you came in. What's his situation? Is he stand? Is he going to come back in the summer?
He's still on loan at this moment in time until the summer. So that's another decision and talks kind of ongoing really of what the next step is. So yeah, at this moment in time I haven't got an update, but he is due to come back in the summer, yeah.
Is it Bocca's decision as to whether it's made permanent, that?
It's a bit of both really, yeah, at this moment. So we're just trying to work out what's best for all of us. So yeah, I haven't really got an update at this stage on that, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the FA Youth Cup. West Ham won it, was it last week? First time since you were involved in '99. What are your memories of winning that team?
Big moment that for me. Youth team days for me were some of the best days. I know we've had some good times in kind of the first team kind of environment, but youth team days were special. I think there's a bond there between you and your mates, and living together and spending every day together. It was a close knit group, and for us, so to win the Youth Cup, it was a massive deal at the time, and still is. One I look back with the memory of incredible feeling really, and so it was nice to see. It did bring back memories. It was nice to see them winning and the boys celebrating, and from that perspective, in terms of that was us at one stage, and you kind of forget how quick time passes.
Are you still in touch with the lads then?
No, not so much, no, but I think it's just more of it does make you realise how quickly time goes, and trying to make the most of what we got.
And is that your message to the young players now?
Yeah, I say it to the boys at some point of make the most of it, lads, because it goes quick. Careers go quick. You think you're early 20s, I've got ages left, mid 20s, late 20s, I'm alright, and all of a sudden by the time you know it, you're 30, and you're looking at kind of a different chapter in your life and your career, and you got to make the most of every single day. And people said it to me when I was younger, and at some point you're like, yeah, but I've got ages, it's just the old man talking again, and now I'm the old man. But it is true, and I'm sitting here and time's flown for me, so even since when I finished playing, it still flies by. So that's the challenge for them, to make the most of every opportunity they've got. Just keep encouraging them to do that.
And just finally on that, was Harry Redknapp the manager, the first team manager at the time?
Yeah.
And you made your first team debut that year, I think. How important was that to be kind of given a chance when you were a kid? I know you've got to be ready, you've got to be good enough, but is that something you've taken into management, kind of how you felt and what a boost that gives?
Yeah, massive. Everyone in the games needed a chance at some point. You guys need a chance in what you do. Everyone needs the chance, and then it's up to you to are you capable of taking it on and earning the right to be there or not. But until you're given that opportunity, you never really know. And football for me is look at Hayden, for instance, and how he's gone on this season, and the opportunity he's been given, but really he's thrived and he's grown, and that's getting the best out of younger players is that balance you get. But of course for younger players coming through, it's a case of, for us, whether that's an opportunity in training, whether it's one day, whether it's a few weeks at a time, they're massive chances. And for me, fortunately, Harry was one that gave me a chance when we had Rio was in the team, Lamps was in the team, Joe Cole was in the team. That's 4 lads who were 19, 20 and under through the middle of the team, and he was prepared to give us that opportunity at that stage, which not many would. So that's always one that I've taken from, and probably why I'm so kind of passionate about trying to give as many younger lads a chance in somewhere when we can.
Brilliant, thank you.
Just on the injury front, Michael, obviously we know, the 2 games that are left, and, clearly a little less at stake than when the playoffs roll around. I mean, from your point of view, would it be advantageous if you could, welcome some of those injured players back and give them, top the minutes up, if you like, in these last 2 games?
Yeah, without doubt, we're looking to get the boys back. There's two sides of it. The fact that we have had some injuries has benefited the whole group and benefited us as staff to have everyone at a level where they're ready to play, and they've played a game or 2 in the last few weeks, which, looking ahead, will help us and give us options, and it's good for the lads to feel that they're ready, and to take the chance and possibly stay in the team. That's a clear picture. So we are desperate to get the lads fit, to have the options, because games come quick and you want flexibility and options depending on who you end up playing and things like that. So but again, it's where they're at on their rehab and coming back from, and what stage they're at, whether we put them in or they might need an extra few days.
Yeah, and those things considered, those things you spoke about there, you spoke about momentum as well. Despite the fact we say there isn't as much at stake in these next 2 games, there is still significance to them in certain regards.
There's a huge amount for us in a performance level and a professional level in terms of being ready and staying ready, and what it takes now for us to be at our maximum, and in a couple of weeks' time, for instance. That means, like I said, of not a drop off, not a relax, not a rest. It's when we're working, when we're playing to win, and we want to be as aggressive and intense and bring everything that we can. Is definitely not of taking the foot off the gas, and I think that's really, really important that we carry that on.
Yeah, and just on Dan Barley, so he obviously started, I think it's just his second start since joining the club in January. I mean, how did you assess his performance on Monday night?
Yeah, I thought Dan was terrific. I thought he started the game well and got better as the game went on, and between him and Alex controlled the game fantastically well, and got on the ball, got loads of the balls, did what he does best in terms of forward passes through lines, and nearly got Cam over the top a couple of times, and didn't surprise me. It's what Dan does. He's a terrific footballer, so I was delighted for him to play so well.
Yeah, and obviously he joined the club at a time when things have been going well, and in the position he plays, there's been 2 players in particular who have kind of established their role, and it's been hard to displace them. But in some ways, has it been advantageous to Dan in terms of settling in at the club, given we know the long-term contract he was given, etc. Come in and be able to settle in the club without having that pressure of necessarily being needed immediately?
Probably in the long term, yeah. I'm not. I'm sure he was desperate to play every game, and has been desperate to play every game. He's been incredibly understanding as well, though, and speaking to him and understanding the situation and supporting of his teammates, which is not a given by any stretch. So it's fantastic that he's been like that. And from our point of view, we've seen him train every day in the levels that he hits, and we know what he's capable of wanting to give him a chance and wanting to play football, because that's why we brought him here. So I was delighted from the other night, and that'll set him up as well as a few of the others to know that they're ready for what's ahead.
Yeah, and obviously he and Matt Crooks go back to Rotherham, their former clubs. Presumably, they'll be both desperate to play in this game, probably more than any other, given it's where they come from. Yeah,
maybe. For us, it's another game's a game. I think that's when I was a player. It's just another game. I think it doesn't really add too much to it in some ways. You're there to work and for business, and in terms of focus and getting ready for the game and performing and what's ahead after that. There is the element of going back to a former club, but I think as a player, really, it's your business heads on, and it's about performing.
Yeah, I was going to ask about yourself, obviously, when you did go back to West Ham and Tottenham. I mean, is that the kind of focus you had? Was there any side of you that had that kind of nostalgic view about going back to former clubs, or was it?
I didn't really know. I didn't, to be honest. There's a respect there, 100%. There's a respect there, and there's an understanding of the thanks for obviously the chance you got at that former club or whatever. But really, once you're there, I was always there to win a game, and that was it. And then after the game, you can pick up whatever, and That's the beauty of professional sport. There's not really much sentiment that's in it when you're at the level.